DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. DreamHack Valencia here on the sunny side of Spain. It is rather nice outside, but of course we're inside for the DreamHack Open here, in which we saw just a few results that might stick out to you. One of those being a 16-1 not in the favor of Virtus.pro. But really and truly, does it stick out to you at this point? Who really knows? Only time will tell. That dog hasn't necessarily rolled over yet, as they will have another chance tomorrow in an elimination game. But right now, we're moving on to the final best of one of the day. It's going to be Fragsters versus Luminosity in what is a winner's match. Fragsters being the ones that did put VP in that 16-1 scenario earlier. Here I'm at the desk with my friends in Sponge and Bleh, and we're going to try to round this one out and give you the best analysis we can going into this last matchup. Chad, having just had a few monsters, he should be amped up, ready to go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's my favorite catchphrase of yours. That
like
and
that?
First of all. But the
crowd.
First of all, the crowd here and the crowd. But look, what we've seen today from both these teams is a good brand of Counter-Strike. Okay, so Luminosity had to beat G2, and G2 were one of the favorites coming into this tournament alongside North, at least in my books. And then that of Fragsters, we didn't really know what to expect, but we knew that VP are in probably the doldrums, probably the worst place they've ever been, and that's saying something considering their last year and a half, almost 2 years of time. The Counter-Strike that we've seen, though, from both of these squads has been flashy and almost individual based, I think. Fragsters, you could see them moving outside of their comfort zone, moving outside of their structure and just getting aggressive because they were manhandling VP. And then some decisions that were going on for the Luminosity guys were so individual, but it was winning rounds. So if it works, it's not broken. Right. Let's just go with that. So this could be a very flary game. And what isn't broken yet is Group B. We can take a look and see how that all unfolded up to this point, our last match of the day. G2, Luminosity scoring off the beginning there, which did put Luminosity in that first front-running seat in the winner's match, now going up against Fragsters. And yes, your eyes do not deceive you. 16-1 in the favor of Fragsters. It just sounds weird coming off the tongue, you know?
I think, to be honest, I think this has just been very topsy-turvy, right? Luminosity, Fragsters. Now we're going to have one of these two teams reach the semifinals, while G2 and VP are facing off in the elimination game tomorrow. I did not expect that. I don't think any of us did. Even though VP and Fragsters win, we kind of expect Fragsters to win, but not 16-1.
I don't think we expected both of the results to be upset results, right? At least one of the two, probably just because it is a DreamHack Open and they're synonymous at this point with these teams who we don't expect to do well doing well. But moving forward in the tournament, as Blez said, one of these guys is already in the semis, right? One of them, it doesn't matter which way this goes, one of these two teams has already gone further than what I think a lot of people would have been thinking.
Absolutely, Chad. Now, how about the maps, though? We talk about the topsy-turvy sort of results here, but it is also best of one. We can remind that that is probably in large part a favorite to some of these underdog teams that can come in here and they can get one of those, what do they say, cheeky map wins where you're from, right?
That's the UK.
Yeah, but you also claim that, right?
Yeah, but then
you got that passport.
They got knocked out of the World Cup, so now I'm just Australian again.
So it's not really coming home? All right.
No.
Whew. Too soon.
Yes, maps.
Maps. I think it's going to be Cash or Inferno. I think it's going to come down to Fragsters whether they want to let through Inferno, looking at how Luminosity kind of beat G2 convincingly, right?
That was through the T side that they did a lot of their work.
Yeah, so I think Cash, Cash getting banned out, all right. They might be going for Inferno play here.
Looks like
ballsy play from Fragsters there. I wouldn't really fault them for this because here's the thing, they're pretty decent in Inferno as well. Yeah.
They can look at a couple of the things as well if they had their coach or their analyst or their in-game leader or any of the players have a quick look at what the guys from Luminosity did on that first game against G2 to see how they were able to win that. They'll be able to see a lot of, I don't want to say random, that's the wrong word. Let's say ballsy
plays.
Brave plays, pushing through smokes, re-picking when they should fall back to play lines. So if they know that that's coming their way, they can prepare for it a little bit more, so not get caught off guard in the way that G2 did.
They won't be standing exactly flat-footed like a G2 did. Let's talk about this Luminosity lineup a little bit more in depth. We do have the players getting strapped in, getting those headsets on, and getting just that last little bit of deathmatch time. Currently sitting at a healthy 58th ranking on HLTV. Not exactly where I think they'll end up in the long term.
I don't think they played like a 58th place team today, right?
Well, not today they didn't, but is it 58th and 40th in the world of the two squads we have going toe-to-toe to go into the semifinals of a DreamHack Open. But we made the point before, the core here, Henny and Lucas have just rejoined Steel. That's the core from the Immortals roster that this time, literally this time last year, were in the semifinals of the PGL Major in Krakow. And then you have the likes of Neckers and Yell, who have been in America for some time now, playing under the Luminosity banner. And they can just kind of fill in whatever roles are left, because the other three of them played a fantastic first match. Steel was leading the charge. Henny was doing a lot of work with the AWP. I think Lucas is one of the better role players that we have out there at the moment in CSGO.
And role-playing is something you know all about, right, Chad?
Yeah, I go and do that, what's it called, LARP? Live action.
LARPing.
Yeah,
yes.
I go and do that. I dress up as like a mage.
Lightning bolt.
Yeah, and I cast spells, and we do that in Cologne, which is where I live, at a park near my house.
In and out and around of Boogaloo, I think, is where you.
That's where we end up. That's where we end up for all the real LARPing.
The real live action role play down at your favorite establishment known as the Boogaloo. Either way, you do see Steel there, the guy sitting in the commanding seat of this Luminosity team.
I think I want to see the likes of Henny get a little bit more punished when they go for those plays, like just re-peeking out when he should be falling back. And I think Fragsters, right? Like, sure, they kind of wear manhandling VP at a point, but I think if they've done their homework, it's something they do a lot, right? They kind of try to study their opponents and whatnot. I am dead sure to watch these guys play, and I'm looking to see them get a little punished at the very least, you know?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get away with it to the same regard, and you can see the system coming out on the CT side of Fragsters in the early stages of that VP match until they built enough confidence to just go off tap and start going for aggressive plays. But that man right there, Lucas, on your screen, he's kind of... Look, him and his brother, Henny, have been off the scene for some time, and this is one of their first real steps back into competitive Counter-Strike in probably, I want to say, the better part of 6 months. It's been a very interesting time for them. So if they can come out here and make it straight into the semi-finals, say a very big notch in the belt just to see these guys return. Maybe we get some form of glory coming out of them.
And also Steel didn't say no to Bolts joining them as well.
Yeah, he said we're not thinking about it right now.
Yeah, right now. There's a time and place for everything, Chad. I'm sure you've known that by now. I mean, you are an adult. So anyway, with that being said, it's a time and a place to talk about Fragsters. We talked of Refresh earlier, and, well, for all intents and purposes, he was really humble about it. They know that they've caught a VP that aren't necessarily the VP of old, but they do know that that's not the end of the road for them here.
I think something to note with these guys is the sense of the matter that, hey, they did make it to the semifinals in Austin, you know, which wasn't too long ago. On LAN is where they seem to do a lot of their better work, whereas online, we have noted several times here that they do seem to have issues recently. But if they can have a little bit of form like they did, even I don't know, 10% of the form they had in that VP game and look as cohesive, then this is going to be a very good matchup. They were fantastic in post-plant situations. They were very poised. They weren't rushing into things. They were always taking advantage and swinging out and dueling together, so I guess the communication's on point. And I'll make note again that these guys are just a very young squad, and if they can stay together and they can keep their the mentality and not get too disheartened by results not necessarily going their way, then look, there's a future for these guys in the Danish scene.
Yeah, and one more thing about this team is, like, unlike quite a few like new up-and-coming teams, it's not like one guy being a star player, right? Like we've all pointed out Dragonfly, but then again, if you look at Refresh, if you look at Stav and all these guys, the one really good thing about this team is when you look at the frag distribution at the end of almost every game, which they win or they play well in, it's pretty equal all over.
You know that Firefly is the opposite of Waterfall?
What?
Wow.
Well, Firefly
wow.
is the opposite of Waterfall.
That's cool.
Nice, Chad.
Well, they're two actual things. You know what a Waterfall is, Chase?
Yeah.
Do you know what a Firefly is?
Yeah.
Well, they're the opposite of one another.
Okay.
Well, not literally the name.
One's animate, one's inanimate, so kind of.
They both move, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to do a little bit more research on that one. I'll revisit it.
Let me know how you feel.
Can't really say that I'm completely on board with it, but I do understand real Monka's situation right there.
I could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you done that before?
No, I think we could find an Eskimo, though, and I'll give it a crack.
An Eskimo in Spain. That could be one of the more challenging tasks.
When are we doing our skit with the bull charging and stuff? And you dress up as a bull, and I have like the red
and you have Santa Claus outfit on.
Yeah.
Well, that falls right into the LARPing that we were talking about earlier. Henny and Dragonfly. My goodness, this could be a little bit of a bout, but I'm gonna have to say that statistically, even though the frags aren't up there exactly for Dragonfly, there really wasn't a whole lot he could do in the 16-1 showing, which was Refresh show.
You don't have to get that many kills in a 16-1. It's one of the surprising things. There are less rounds, which means less chance for kills. But Henny obviously made a couple of decisions that I was quite critical of, but that's the type of AWPer he is. And you can see the passion on these guys. They're quite fun. They're very loud. They're very boisterous. And that's kind of the flair that we do want to see from this Luminosity roster.
How about this? Exclamation point frag or exclamation point LG in the chat right now. I'm not going to ask you again. I mean, I might, but not right in this moment.
Unless they play in the grand final. Unless they can't play again.
Yeah, I don't know if that would shape out like that, would it?
Why not?
It could.
Anything's
really
possible.
It really could.
It's like Alice in Wonderland.
It's Counter-Strike.
If you can dream it, you can do it. I think I quote Blades of Glory. Is that no?
No.
Oh, no. Either way, here's the GG bet odds, and it would appear as though they're not super heavily in the favor of Luminosity.
That's really strange because the only thing that Luminosity has going for them is history of that core. There's no real reason that Fragsters can't be even pegging in this matchup right here, right now. There is absolutely no case for this to be lent so hardly. I wonder what the guys from GG Bet are smoking.
Whoa, good stuff.
Good
stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I don't know that we can actively endorse smoking.
I didn't say that. I just said, I wonder what they are smoking.
How about this, Chad? I want to know what you're smoking, and let's talk about these predictions that you've got going on today. So far, it's not been your best of showing predictions, unlike some of us.
It hasn't, and I have opted for my little friend. There's nothing money can't solve, and the coin is out again. So we're going to go heads being Luminosity and tails being Fragsters here. So let's crack her open, and it's going to be heads, so we're going to go with Luminosity.
Okay, I think that's a fair assessment. What do you got, Blay?
Luminosity.
Okay.
I'm just going to go with the coin, man. Never fails.
Can't trust. Well, it
if you go down, we're just going to go down together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Just blame the coin.
Yeah. Just blame the coin. Well, you know, I think it's time that I got involved in the game.
All right.
I think the prediction king down here, down the end. I'm sure that you have some fantastic insights based off your,
flawless,
I guess, supreme knowledge today. Supreme. What is it? It's not even a word.
It's S-U-P-R. Anyway, yes, I have somehow, some way managed to predict 5 out of 5 W's today. Now, can I do it for the 6th one? That will be the deal breaker. But to do that, I have garnered 3 reasons why Luminosity will outshine the Fragsters in this matchup. The first reason is this. These Brazilians are very hungry. It's been quite some time since some of these Brazilians have seen some server time. And I think here is a great start to a great proving ground for this Luminosity gaming team to kind of come together and show what they're capable of doing and try to find their way back to the top. My second reason is going to be this. Steel is fragging and, well, always smiling, but he's definitely having fun. This is a guy that no matter what has found himself in a leadership role within this team. His veterancy should be enough to carry the squad through, and perhaps he has just enough behind him to be able to kind of control the Henny and Lucas and move them around the map in a way in which that he finds very effective. Now, the last reason I have for you is this. The Fragsters adrenaline. You're going to note the question mark simply because, well, after the match earlier when they 16-1 a team, I'm sure they spent all night, all week, however long they've known about coming to this event, I'm sure they've been spent that time preparing for that matchup. Now, who's to say that the shakes didn't wear off right afterwards? Who's to say that when that adrenaline subsided, they didn't just get a little bit of sleepiness in there, and where in which the Brazilians, who are ultimately used to winning on the big stage, can capitalize on that alone. And those are my 3 reasons why. My name is Trace Saranthus.
Who's it brought to us by, Trace?
It's brought to us by Hacks GG. What do you know about Hacks GG?
They are the official apparel sponsor of DreamHack Open Valencia 2018.
Okay. It's pretty fair. I think that's exactly the terminology there. Let's talk about the Twitch chat results, though, because we can talk all day. We got some bigger brains over here, maybe a more peanut-sized brain right here. But the Twitch chat, you guys seemingly know best, and you have to agree. It's Luminosity. I think it has to be Luminosity.
Everyone agrees on this one, this time around.
Well, it's like we said, it's Counter-Strike and it's possible. So at this point, just strap yourself in, get ready to feel the G's.
We're in for a ride. Let's strap ourselves in, sort of like Harry straps it on nightly, as he will be behind the commentary desk, bringing us this action. Risk, what do you have to say about that sort of strapping action?
I don't know anything about strapping action, but I know all of you are going to be wrong because Fragsters is going to win this game.
All right, and that was the last time anyone ever heard from Risk. We'll see you next time. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. We're strapped on, we're strapped up, we're ready to head on into this one, last game of the day. And you've come in with a confident pick then, saying that Fragsters are going to take this Risk.
Yeah.
Why?
I really feel like these two teams are very evenly mixed, especially in skill level. They, of course, have the veterancy and the experience in the 3 players that the desk spent so much time talking about, and that is true. Those 3 players can definitely change a lineup, and they have changed the lineup. Last times this team played, it was a 2-1 for Fragsters, but that was without this lineup as we see them today. They had Steel back then, but it wasn't the same setup. So definitely it's going to be closer, but I feel like with especially playing on Inferno, I feel like Fragsters have a very good control of that map, especially with their systems on the CT side, but also the way that they mid-round call on the T side, which is quite interesting also in general. So basically Torben is the in-game leader. but the rest of the team can kind of like fan out on a map. So if they play T side and let's say Stavn sees something, he can make the call to then say, okay, this is what we're going to do this round. And then Torben will be the one to either say, okay, let's do it, or let's not do it. So it's not like a single guy who has a lot of influence. It's a very dynamic style of playing.
Well then, we'll see. Does the more dictator style of calling, or does democracy win over here on Inferno? Fragsters kickstarting up on the T side. And this is the kind of one that you built into with that little speech just then.
Yeah. This is a high risk, high reward, but it's in my name, so I gotta go for it.
Well, Danes love no one more than other Danes. Here comes the push in towards this B-bomb site. Steel about to be tested here, along with the rest of the gang. Henny and Neckers. Henny manages one. Oh, you ready for Neckers, who currently hit on the back quad. Now he's peeking out the know that he's here. Can't deny the bomb. One left fighting for his life, and a quick tap background. Steel's there to help. It's Bubsky and Refresh. Left in a 2-on-4. Refresh is good for one. It all falls onto Bubsky. So many heads to find. Might be asking too much of him. Necker's going to finish this round off. Luminosity winning the pistol round here on Inferno.
Yeah, it's always good when you have 3 people stacked on a side that they actually run into. So nice from Luminosity, they hold back, they hold their positions, and even though, yes, they give away a bomb plant, that doesn't really matter that much when you can come in with a confident retake as they did there. So very nicely done. Good chance they're kind of taking, but also really nicely done by the guys over at Luminosity. Just gonna ignore what went down in the chat.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, who could figure that out? All right, so we have a full eco right now for Fragsters. It's gonna be AKs next round. This round is gonna be a full eco. So not really the most important of rounds coming in here. Fragsters just gonna use this time to think about, okay, how do we approach this first buy, and how are we gonna try to exploit some of the weaknesses, if any, that we've seen so far.
I make some noise there. I think trying to do that silently, that was the purpose of boosting up for it, but whiffing the jump slightly.
Luckily for Fragsters, there was no one nearby. And Luminosity once again employing this kind of strategy where they know Fragsters are on a low buy round, low economical round, so they're just going to hold back and hold their angles, believe in their system. And he's the only one pushing because he's solo playing B. If they get this frag right now, they're probably going to turn around and go for the B plan. No, they're not. Yeah, here goes the bomb, okay. So the question is, who goes first? Yell is rotating, but he has a scout. That is a kind of a duel they can win 3v1. Oh, that's nice from Yell though.
Still going to keep getting pressured. USP out, and players to click on. Going to try and deny the bomb plan. He does manage to get there just in time. Luminosity off to a good start. A second round now.
Nicely done by Yell there, just never having any doubts of the fact that he was going to win that round completely, even though he took some damage. Facing with the scout as well. Good stuff. 2-0. And Fragsters now coming in with the buy. See what they can do with this. Henny buying up into the open. It's close to being a hit.
Now, this is the attempt at the bonus round from Luminosity. Now waiting over here on Banana.
I like the choice of actually buying up here for the rest of the players apart from the UMP and the Scout. Getting the up on Henny, getting 2 players on there. And even though it's a big investment, you make sure that you can take these tools. But so far it's been the players on the B-bomb side with the lesser weapons that have been attacked. But once again, Lucas, even though he only has a UMP, is still able to find that W in the 1v1 duel. Nicely done by him. We'll go down eventually, but they trade 1 for 1 in the end, and no entry has been given onto the B-bomb side.
Now, this 4-on-4 definitely going to help Fragsters at least early on if they can look to maintain it. Steel in response. Clears out that avenue of apartments, but Stavin's already down in Boiler.
This rotation from Yell right now is going to be key, because if he gets caught off guard and if they push into the B-bomb side right now, he's not going to be able to rotate in time, and Henny has to get this.
Yeah, he's been pretty decent thus far for Luminosity, who made a few questionable decisions earlier on versus G2. This time plays it safe, stays on the other side of that smoke. The bomb does go down. It's going to be 4v4 in this retake for Luminosity. Time now working against them.
Even have a banana play as well. This is a very nice post-plant setup from Fragsters.
Luminosity going to try and make their way on in now, but the time is taking incredibly low. There's the first kill found from Steel, but as Torben answers back, he's found a double. And that should be the round all said and done. Yell is good for 1, 2 on 2 now. And Henny's actually going to drop one more, but surely this time has ticked too low. They're going to try and get on the bomb, but it's all for naught. And Refresh might have even dealt with both of these players. They're going to go down to the bomb. What a round there from Refresh on Banana. Wasn't just enough for him to win it. He has to go ahead and ruin Luminosity's economy in the process.
And that's the strength of a B like post-plant setup. If you have players who can just hold these angles, and even though in the straight-up 1v1 duels, Luminosity probably outshine most of these aim-wise, Fragsters are just able to still hold it because the time is ticking down so low. Really nicely done by them, showing the power of that B bomb side in that post-plant position. Now, Luminosity not showing any power economy-wise. Only a couple of players on M4s and MP9s and a 5-7 on Henny. Not the best of setups. No Molotovs either, no kits. Only 2 smokes, 1 on Steel and 1 on Nekis.
Already not much to write home about in this round. Fragsters. It's another slow place around from them. 3 players for Luminosity inside of this B-bomb site. The smoke rains in towards CT. Neck, as you can see, ready with this flashbang. As Henny goes peeking on in, he realizes no one on the other side of that smoke, no one creeping on up. Fragsters, in the meantime, taking control of the top of mid. Flash Yell away from the action.
And the fake has worked. The rotation is coming in through CT. They're keeping 1 player top mid. The rest of the guys are setting up towards Banana. So once more, it's going to be the single player, it's Lucas, on this B bomb side to defend because all of the CTs are on the opposite end of the map.
I mean, Lucas just gets wrecked. They're headed by Torben on the entry, Stab, and even going to drop Penny down at the base of Banana. And a safe call comes in for the remaining Luminosity guys. Fragsters going to move on to a second round here. Holding on to the M4, the FAMAS, the MP9, gives them that much more to work with into the next round. They could even try and force buy around it, but money's certainly not going to be great. You get 1900, so you imagine they just eco because they can buy in the next round.
Definitely. So bomb will explode. 3 players surviving here from Luminosity. Fragsters will bring it back to 2-2 in this game. Of course, for those of you just tuning in, it is the winner's game of Group A or B. I'm actually not even sure what group we're in, but one of the groups, DreamHack Valencia, to decide.
This is Group B.
Group B, okay.
It is indeed, because if you will recall, Luminosity bested G2 earlier on to get here.
The mess in Group B,
Fragsters
that's
beat
true.
VP, and yeah, that created the mess in Group B. It also all rhymes, which is kind of nice. Here's going to be some aggression from Yell over here towards Apartments, barreling on through, and they're not ready for this. He's as loud as a stampede. He's going to run over Refresh. Man advantage gain to the M4, yielding them a frag early. They're desperate to try and trade this out. Stavern might get caught looking the wrong way. Oh my goodness, he managed 2 there. 1 through the wallbang.
That's so nice. I think, let's see if he wins this duel against Nekis, who's always, oh, he's on the other side of the wall, okay. Let's see if he can still go for this. Stavern, he's definitely smelled the blood of Luminosity, will be taken out. Nice position from Nekis. But the way that he plays that, he goes for the first frag, and then he shoots into the wall again, just to kind of make a sound that as if he's holding the wrong angle, but he's definitely always keeping his eyes on that lower angle, which is exactly where the CT pushed him. So nice little play there for Down, but the question is, will it guarantee the round? Probably not.
Yeah, this is a scenario that never should have been for Fragsters. A good start from Stab and now turns sour. Luckily enough, Bubsky and Dragonfly hauling them back into this, and Bubsky going to find himself a cheeky double down in mid. Trace incorrectly gave the word cheeky over the sponge on the desk, so I feel like I have to remind him. It's British people who like to throw that out. They're not really Australians. I don't know if they do. Maybe they do.
Maybe they do. I have a lot of love for words. Some that are
a lot of love for words.
Some that are not accepted in the rest of the world.
As opposed to the Danes, you
we
guys
don't
just like
words,
noises,
no.
right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
sort of the.
Just because I'm Danish doesn't mean that I can make fun of Danes now. Our language is pretty garbage.
Well, I tell you what, a bunch of Danes in the server, they might beg to differ. Bubsky waiting over here towards the top of Banana. It's mental how many Danish players there are at this event when you think about it.
We have a small Danish colony in Spain. Back in the 70s and 80s, Danish families used to go on summer vacation and create colonies near Malaga, and now they're coming to Valencia.
That's a little interesting tidbit for you.
Yeah, full of those. Got those all day.
Well, maybe we'll see you bust out some more Danish knowledge.
Flash going over to mid. Torben not able to hold his position, but for now, Fragsters is just content with holding their default, working on top Banana, working on apartments. So these are kind of the areas that will have early battles on Inferno. The CTs this time around in Luminosity are deciding not to go for it, just to give that area away. Now smokes are landing on this B bomb site, but I don't think that's going to be the full execute because the bomb is still in the middle. It's going to be the fake onto B with 2 players, and then the push onto A.
Yeah, this is where Steel is about to be tested. That flash does betray, and Neck is trying to answer back from the graveyard, but instead he's a dead man walking as he gets put in the ground, courtesy of Stab, and bomb plant about to come through. It has to go down any second now, sadly. But the man over in Library, that's Yell. He's not in a position to stop that bomb going down. So little time left as it does come through, and Luminosity forced to back off and save. You can see Lucas not leaving B. Yell looking to try and fall back and join him. It's going to be a 4th round for Fragsters regardless, though, here on Inferno. And let's not forget, those of you who are just joining us, you already missed some of the opening games today for Group B, and there we saw Luminosity trump G2 on this very map.
Yeah, and Fragsters completely crush VP as well. So this is a battle of the giants in this group. And that's why I'm expecting such a close game.
That's a mental statement, isn't it? Battle of the Giants.
Luminosity versus Fragsters.
Yeah, it's G2 and VP in their group, and the clash of the Titans is Luminosity versus Fragsters.
That's the point.
Yeah. I think G2 definitely outranked them because they're they're like up towards the top 10, and I think VP off the top of my head are like 29th
VP are still like
22nd. Yeah, they're 22nd.
So yeah, this is what was it, 40 and 58 or something in the world on the HFD rankings. Yeah, once again going for the aggressive play, but this time around Fragsters are ready for it. He tried to go for the lower play as well in apartments. It worked out last time around, but this time around Fragsters, they're completely ready for it. They have their default set up so that if he pushes, they have 2 angles on him. It's down once more in the apartments, picking them apart. And even though Neck is great individual talent, with the setup he had there, it wasn't enough.
He's going to keep pushing forward. He's completely opened up apartments, and he reads this well as well. Steel falls. 2 stab and 3 kills for him in this round. A monstrous performance, and single-handedly he has secured this A bomb site. Henny's the only man nearby, and Stabbin, the bloodlust, he hunts him down.
Just give him the ace.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas left in a 1v5. Stabbin definitely going to be persuaded to go hunting. Both because the implications of taking away an M4 is pretty big for the economy of Luminosity, but also because, you know, the bloodlust kicking in, a chance to ace versus this Luminosity team.
It's actually really nice seeing him not go just straight into CT spawn for it. It also shows the composure and some of the system that they're clearing off angles. He's not just going in and trying to find a random duel. They're flashing stuff. Now they know his position, and Sound feels confident that he can win the 1v1 duel, but there are 2 people pushing in at the same time. So the system of Fragsters is definitely showing, and he doesn't get the ace in the end. His brother steals it away.
So it's Stabbin and Dragonfly that are brothers.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because then you have Lucas and Henny as well.
Yeah, it's a really...
It's very rare that we get a clash of brothers.
Yeah, the Tellers versus the Lund family. There we go. Actually, there's a third brother as well in that Lund family who used to be on the team before they joined Fragsters, and in the beginning of them joining Fragsters, who's called Cracky. He's a really nice guy, but his level...
Who are the parents of this team? It's like Kirby and Device are the mum and dad.
That would have been nice.
And they've just, you know, made this CS family. 3 brothers in a team.
Yeah.
That's unreal. But, you know, maybe a bit of a family feud in this round. Dragonfly not in a position to trade for Stab, and he falls early on along with Bubsky. So now playing this quite the man deficit, 3v5 for Fragsters, desperate to try and find a means back into this round.
Oh, there's a gap in that. Henny will be flashed off though. Lucas coming in. And Dragonfly now holding the gap in the smoke after the flash, taking his opponent off it. That's actually really nice. So that almost makes me think that this gap is actually intentional, even though usually you don't really see that. This can't bring it to anything really, but yeah, it's fine. 5v3, a big chance for Luminosity to get back into the game. Have done well to grab the beginning frags, one on Yell and one on Lucas. Yell definitely has been playing a good game so far. A lot of aggression coming out from him. Now Refresh will be leading the charge onto the A-bomb side.
Yeah, barreling on in. It's going to be Yell to open up. Torben can't stand the test of time. A Refresh and Dragonfly left standing. Right now, the bomb down now in the open, 15 seconds left. Fragsters, it's going to be an absolutely insane comeback if they get back into this round, and it's just not happening. Dragonfly has to float away, like to hold onto the AWP.
Once again, a nice round coming in from Yell, 10-3 right now. One of these players that has been with the Luminosity team since they picked up this young talent team from Brazil and moved them to NA. He's definitely showing up. Showing that he belongs at this kind of level. And potentially having a chance of bringing himself into the semifinals of DreamHack Open, which is something that they haven't really been able to do. Every single time they've been to one of these open tournaments, they crashed out in the group stage, if I'm not mistaken. I think I at least have seen 2 of those times. There might have been a third, I can't really remember. But now they have the addition of not only Steel, which they also had in Austin, but now also, of course, Lucas and Henny. Big, big additions.
Yeah, this Luminosity team definitely want to keep an eye on. They look to be on the rise. Another little fun Dragonfly fact for you.
Yeah.
In honor of the man who saved the AWP for Fragsters. Dragonflies can only eat while they're flying. So if they lose the ability to fly, they starve. That's kind of sad.
Interesting.
To interest things up, they also mate while they fly. So let's see if Dragonfly can do any of that now. Oh, no. Lucas. That's...
Aggression is nice in Counter-Strike, and confidence is nice, but that was maybe just a bit too much.
Yeah, but strange enough, in most walks of life, fire isn't that nice risk, so Lucas going to learn that the hard way. As it is a Brazilian barbecue down here on Banana. He falls, man advantage gain for Fragsters.
Never had Brazilian barbecue.
It's utterly fantastic. You haven't lived yet, Risk. That's what I'll say. We can look to try and find that, though. Don't have to have it in Valencia, but maybe.
It might be easier than finding an Eskimo.
That's a hark back to Chad Sponge Virtual saying he could sell ice to an Eskimo, for those of you who weren't around during the death segment. But anyway, back into this round.
Let's see here. It's going to be the fake onto Long. If he gets this frag, he can go into CT spawn and then the split towards B. But Yell is here, so I'll probably keep my money on him holding this angle. But it doesn't really matter in the end. They're still going to go in. Smoke off Henny. Let's see if he can land the smoke shot. 1, 2. There it is. But they wait just a couple of seconds before going in and now holding the angle, making sure that, okay, Henny's not holding the AWP anymore. Flash goes in, secondary smoke onto this position, but Nekkes is open. 2 frags coming in, Stan and Bubsky, both with 1, and now Yell. The star so far on Inferno. Can't really shine that bright because he has to retreat. 4 players will survive for Fragsters as surely Yell and Steel are not going to go for any plays to kind of take off the weapons. That's simply too much of a risk. They want to bring them into the next round.
It certainly has been a convincing start, though, for Fragsters. Now, doesn't want to really go down with the AWP here. Misses that shot, and now that's his cue to leave. The attempt just going to be a ringing of the dinner bell for Fragsters, who would love to take this AWP away. They're not going to get to. As Yell backs away into the library, but you've got to be quiet there.
Do we have a bit of information of how long dragonflies actually survive in the wild? Because this dragonfly on the server has survived for 5 rounds.
I don't know, mate. I'm not actually a dragonfly expert, Risk. You've really thrown me under the bus.
I'm sorry. I just really expect so much.
This is like revising for exams all over again. You know, questions come up. I wasn't ready for it. I don't know. I'm going to say, well, they've been around for 300 million years in total, mate. So there we go.
That's a good one. That's a good answer.
To do, you know.
That's a really politician answer. Kind of give the kind of different answer, but in the same like category as the question. So you're not completely wrong. I like that.
Yeah, speaking of. I don't know, I'm going to go with that. 6-3. Fragsters currently in the lead, and they've had a strong and stable T side, that is for sure. Yell carried that AWP forward. He's going to go for the mid peek. He had to spawn for it, looking to try and find an opener, but needs enough to bait him back for the time being. Keeps on aggressing, takes the peek down at AWP mid, and just misses the timing onto refresh.
Really nice choice of taking that very aggressive secondary peek, but rotating back in time, so if they came up middle, he wouldn't be caught off guard. Nice game sense coming out from Yell. I have to say, I'm impressed with him so far in this game, even though his team is behind. Oh, just sees an edge, fires away, doesn't hit the shot. And of course, when I give him praise, the commentator's curse comes in and he misses. I'll try not to talk about Yell anymore, so he can hit some more good shots.
That's one thing you have to say about this Luminosity team. They're not shy of AWPing talent.
Definitely not.
Both Yell and Henny can pick that up and wield it very, very proficiently. Here is the man, and oh my goodness, Stavin lands an absolute belter of a shot. That's opened up this round. He's going to go back in for a little bit more, and Stavin, time and time again.
That was just a fake. The real push is coming here. Lucas, can he stop it though? Nice deagle, but almost nails the frag. Henny now in a good position.
Away, forced off from the boost, has at least given Luminosity an edge into this round. Looking like he might try barreling through that smoke, catch them off guard. The flash comes through from Steel, and Henny misses the initial opportunity. Now they know where this man resides, and they're going to hound him down. Steel, 1v3.
They're just going to try and get away here. Making the right call in this situation, Steel. Not going head over heels into the bomb site, but unluckily for him, Dragonfly is making his way on towards the A side, trying to see if he can take that M4 away. Just baits him. And now 2 players coming in, a third also joining. They want to take this AWP away from Steel. And here they come.
Go back for any more. Just stays alive. He's
seconds away.
He is a very lucky man indeed. Risk right now, you're looking pretty decent in your prediction. Fragsters having a fantastic half, and so much of it coming off the back of this man on your screens right now, Stavin. Time and time again.
Yeah, and to be honest,
he's been finding success on that A-bomb site.
Yeah, and I'm really happy with it also because Luminosity actually playing a good game. Like they're making some decent decisions and getting good shots here and there. Nell really with some good aggressive play. So it's just like, if we can have a good game and Fragsters will win, then I'll be super happy. That's what I want.
Because we all love good Counter-Strike.
That's where you're correct.
Tell you what, Risk, I've been up for, I don't know exactly. I want to say like 40 hours, thereabouts. And this game is still keeping me awake right now. It's keeping me on the edge of my seat. The excitement building, and Steel tries to take the peek down through the base of Banana. Doesn't find anything.
Lucas on a Desert Eagle. Him and Steel has to be the 2 difference makers on this CT team right now. It's definitely going to be a hard round to bring back, seeing as they have almost no utility, almost no weaponry, and just one all. Torben and his teammates coming in, and already 2-5 committed in the CT team. And he's just going for an aggressive peek, but will be taken out, same as Steel. And now Harry Neckis has to go in and clutch a 1v3 with the USP.
Ooh, he's dinked up Stabbin, but now they know where he is. And sadly, Dragonfly is there to deal with him in the apartments.
Dragonfly actually switched his name. He was called basically the Danish word for Dragonfly, but then he found out that he was actually really good at the game and he would potentially compete in international tournaments, and that name is impossible to pronounce.
How do you say it?
Ulsmil.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not.
I'm kind of glad he stayed away from
exactly.
from Un's milk.
So
I think that's what you said.
So he changed his name to the internet, or at least the English version of the insect. Nice shot from Stabbin. Goes down, if you will. Steel also getting shot down, and now Neck is coming in. A double from him. Not a third though.
Now the pressure all falls on to Henny. 1v2, AWP in hand. Retaking with the AWP, never ideal, but I feel like Luminosity, they're so far behind at this point in time. They have to try and go for something. It was such a strong effort from Steel and Neckis.
He can do this. Let's see if he finds that first one on the side. This is possible. Torben wins it out though. Ice cold. Very young team as well, this Fragsters lineup. I think the average age is around 19.
That's mental.
I don't think I did anything worthwhile when I was 19.
Yeah, for me it was
yesterday.
Pretty, yeah, like, for me it's, 3 years time coming up to it, but I'll let you know how I feel when I get there. Here is, I am older than 19, by the way. Yeah. Three Deagles up, a couple of PT50s for Luminosity, not much to work with. And, I mean, really, even when they've had the AWPs and they've had everything feels like they're going their way, it hasn't really materialized so much this time.
That's such a nice boost.
They did manage to set that tower up and knock down Refresh in the process, and Fragsters in response going to go to turn their attention over here towards B. Bubsky and Dragonfly on the entries. You know how strong these pistols can be, especially when they're in capable hands. Luckily enough, through the smoke, Bubsky gone ahead and returned the man advantage back in favor of the Mad Frag as Dragonfly floating above the smoke. And now it is just Steel and Neck is left alive.
It's not looking good for Luminosity. Having a tough time here against Fragsters, and you can kind of you could feel the confidence before this map started because of their recent results on Inferno, and they feel confident on this map, but so do Fragsters. Inferno's, together with Train, the map that the Luminosity team has played the most with this current lineup. 6 maps played before this game. But the same is the case for Fragsters. 27 maps played with this current iteration of the lineup and a 55.6% win rate on it.
You can crunch the numbers, you can look at the data, all the stats in the world. That does not change the fact that Fragsters currently 10-3 up on Inferno on their T side is absolutely monstrous on their behalf. And currently, Luminosity really struggling to find any success here. They're being picked apart. And, a lot of it coming off the back early on was Stabbin over towards the apartments, winning the fights there time and time again. And you kind of see the effect it's had. Luminosity not feeling too confident in their ability to hold onto the map. This time, Yell switches things up with aggression into the apartment position. In the meantime, though, Dragonfly has opened up onto Banana. Neck is going to try and find something, does double down, and now the pressure falls onto the back of Lucas, but he peeks wide and offers himself up to Refresh. These are the sorts of aggressive peaks that they were getting away with when they played versus G2, but Fragsters are punishing them for it.
Let's see how they're going to approach it now. 2v3, almost at the end of the first half, but with the money, I'm pretty sure, apart from Yell would like to survive. They still has enough money to buy still in the last round. So I think if Steel gets some kind of opening, maybe they're going to go for it, but Yell will need a lot of convincing, and he will rotate away. Steel just staying here. seeing if he can find an exit frag onto one of the terrorists. He will not. Refresh will take him out, and that's going to be the 3K for him. Yell will hold on to this AWP, surely, and bring it into the next round. 11 rounds for Fragsters.
This is absolutely monstrous from the young Danes. Danish Counter-Strike is absolutely terrifying as well. There's so much talent in one country, and so consistently as well.
Fragsters are currently the 6th best team in Denmark right now. But them and Sprout are kind of fighting for the 5th/6th position. Right now, with the stuff they're throwing at Luminosity, I would say they're on top of Sprout.
Well, it's aggression from Luminosity, this time down Banana. Neck is able to open up on a Bubsky, and there we go. Man advantage gained for the first time in a long time for this Brazilian squad. Now, what are they going to do with it? They've slowed right down, not looking to keep pressing for information, not looking to try and find anything more. Dragonfly waits on the other side of that smoke. Him and Torben turn their attention away over here towards the top of mid. Stavin, he's someone that we brought up time and time again. He's been so good at reliably finding these entries into the A-bomb site. They need him to do that now more than ever, and Henny homing down at the angle. It's going to be him versus Dragonfly. Maybe not, maybe. Stavin's going to go walking into the crosshair. There's the frag to come through. Luminosity extend the man advantage even further, and Yell, that second AWP that's also here inside of A. They're going to try and run the gauntlet against him, and they come to regret that. Torben falls. It's Steel up in the apartments to now go blow for blow with Refresh. The flash is perfect. They hear the footsteps. They hear everything. Now in a 2v5, this is going to have to be an absolutely monumental effort from the Fragsters boys. Steel lurking up in the smoke. Neck is inside of the bomb site. They managed to pick up a 4th round at the very end, but still 11-4. It's a very, very impressive half from Fragsters, and a pretty lackluster one on behalf of Luminosity.
But very important, they managed to catch this last round. If they get the pistol round now, they can start build something. They can start to build the momentum, because they felt like they ended the last half, or the first half, on kind of like a good note in the last round, even though in general didn't seem so good. So hopefully they can carry some momentum over into the pistol and then build off that. The problem becomes if they lose this pistol, then we're getting very close to a point where the game is almost over, and Luminosity will, well, need to bring a Luminosity comeback, like in the days of Fallen and Cold Zero into this. Zach, of course, the coach of the team, sitting behind them now, giving some feedback, and just keeping them 100% on point to what they're going to do in this pistol round, because they need this badly.
They most certainly do. The pistol here for Luminosity, that's the way that they could find a means back into this matchup. That's, of course, what they're buying for the trophy. And also, you know, a nice cushiony $50,000. You'd love some of that as well.
Definitely. And also a nice position in maybe renegotiating contracts with the organization or something like that. Torben opening up with a nice 1 bullet, but will be taken out eventually by Nekus.
Still,
this aggression.
Yeah, that's what I was about to point out. They've got all the way down to the mid. Actually, they don't anticipate the 2 players stacked up over here on Banana. Stavin's now caught, and everywhere he turns, there's a Glock chipping away at him. It's Steel to find the kill. Dragonfly now in a similar spot of bother. There's players closing in at all sides. He's completely surrounded, fighting for his life, and Neck is gonna drop him. It's Bubsky, a CZ and a Dream. Smoke in hand, he hears the footsteps coming his way. He's positioned perfectly to find something here. He's going around the corner, manages one. So much damage done on the Neckers and Lucas, but they managed to hold on. Luminosity, a 5th round as they win the pistol here in the second half. By the skin of their teeth, they lock in a 5th and now can look to make this second half that much closer.
That was very close in the end there, but nicely done, locking it back up, making sure that you can build on this, get further into the game, get into kind of area where you can get into comfortable situations where you can get one of the brothers on the AWP, you can get Gallon and potential AWP. Nekus can flag away on that AK-47 as we know he loves. That's what they need now. They need to be comfortable, they need to be confident as well. Because Fragsters are not going to give it to them for free.
They certainly are not. If you look early on, that scout was able to do some damage in the initial stages down on a Lucas, so you have at least secured that. Going to work in tandem with these Deagles to try and tag up the players, make them nice and squishy for the high-powered hand cannon that is the Deag. But the stack on B will not be discovered. Not anytime soon, as Luminosity pulse up through top mid. They can hear the footsteps, they can hear these rotations, and maybe that might be enough to make them doubt themselves on this call. They decide to stick to it, stick with their guts, and that is the right call to make. Pushing down through long, Stabbin has to have a monstrous performance, and he has looked good today, but effectively a 1v5, that is too much to ask of the young gun for Fragsters.
And no reason for the rest of the team to kind of go into this. They just need to save their weapons. Bring the 2 Deagles and the Scout into the next round, since it will be just another eco. Luminosity will be able to get on 6 rounds to the 11 of Fragsters, so definitely not impossible, but still a bit away from the victory. Look at Neck is on 16-9, even though it's only been 5 rounds, now 6 for Luminosity. That's a really strong performance from him. It's actually interesting if you look at the frags, right? Even though that Fragsters are leading such a big scoreline, almost double the rounds of Luminosity, the frags are almost equal. Just a few separating the lower players on the bottom of the table. Just showing how close this match has technically been frag-wise, even though the rounds have gone in the favor of Fragsters.
Luminosity should be finding a 7th here. As a result of saving the scout and a few Deags forward, though, Fragsters are in with a second chance, causing an upset early on.
Stacking 2 players on short and the scout as well, and then the remaining 2 on that B-bomb side. Oh, this is nice bait, because then they're going to come flying out, trying to get the position onto Dragonfly when he gets that first tag. But there's a double stack at short from the CT side. Oh, Lucas actually challenges that. Nicely done by Luminosity. Handle that situation perfectly.
Yeah, just Bubsky and Refresh left. A couple of Deags, a couple of keen Deagers, not really expecting too much from them. Luminosity we'll be moving on to a 7th round. Not going to make it costly. The UMP makes some extra money at the very end. So Luminosity now find themselves at a 7-11 juncture in this game. That was a time where like this was just going to be a Fragsters one through and through, and that's the impact of a pistol round and the anti-ecos. That's what it can do. Now you can see the attempt at the bonus round from Luminosity. Want to try and keep the spirits high and the economy even higher on this T side. The buy from Fragsters not that convincing. You can see they've gone for 2 Famases in order to get the extra utility, and I actually like that from them. Dragonfly had enough for the AWP, but already Steel flying through the sky. Drop Stabbin before Dragonfly trades back.
1-for-1 trade, but this also leaves Arch completely open. Dragonfly flashed out, but he will get the kill. Secondary angle could be apartments, could be short. He holds the correct one, misses the shot though. And that's going to be hard for him to get anything more added to his name this round. Will be taken out by Henny. Torben coming in just a tad too late. The smoke has already gone down. 3v3 retake now.
Bomb ticking it down. It's Fragsters this time in this situation having a retake. Fresh. Now, apartment, so many angles to keep an eye on. Henny going to keep things in the advantage of Luminosity, and now we see Bubsky trapped in a 1v2. They have this crossfire set up. Missed shot from Henny, gives him a way back in, but he does not miss it the second time around. An 8th round secured for Luminosity, and on the back of that, they've crumbled down the bank accounts once again of the Fragsters. They're going to be given a chance to find a 9th round reasonably easily.
It ain't over until it's over in Counter-Strike. Like, you can have a great first half and you can have a dominating performance, but with a team like Luminosity, especially that has this kind of level, always be afraid of their ability to come back. And here is Yell coming in.
Oh, indeed he is, Risky. Couldn't be more wrong. 3 quick kills over here in mid as he mops up everyone for Fragsters. Stavin and Torben left alive. I think at this point they'd rather not be. All their teammates falling around them. Stavin even losing his brother down in mid. Now the ultimate task for revenge, a 1v5.
If he just gets one here and saves the AK, he'll be very happy. We'll get one, but no save of the AK, and that's another one on the board. Now only 2 rounds away from tying up the game, Luminosity. A great comeback so far in this second half here. Starting off with winning that last round of the first half, and then winning the pistol and keep building rounds upon that. And it's working out. Another timeout from Fragsters, only 1 remaining. Definitely not saved those up. Spent them when they felt they had the need to, and now there's only 1 left.
This Umpor is going to come to a close. The Fragsters, this was once looking at so good, an 11-4 half in their favor. It seemed like this would have been their match to win. Only now Luminosity right on their heels and running through the fire and flames. Oh, not again. Yell's going to burn himself to death. Luminosity, they just love standing in fire. And I mean, I get the name is all to do with light, but my God, these guys acted like moths over on Bananas. Second time we've seen this happen. Henny this time steps up to the plate though. Comes in with that trade back into a 4-on-4. All their neck is, you can see on your screen, tagged down to 11 HP over on the Fire and Flames in Banana.
Definitely nice bounce back from Luminosity after losing the first player. Now Dragonfly and Banana will be flashed away, but no real aggression coming up. Just securing Banana, making sure that no one's on aggressive position, but as down as that on short, taking down Lucas. And now Steel up here in the apartment has to wait for his teammates, potentially flash them out. Smoke comes out of the apartments. He can still do the flash out, but decides to go for the opening duel instead. Down is on the bomb site. Flash is not good. The guy on shot will not have any effect of it, and now Torben sitting. They're all, apart from 1 player down at T-steps on this bomb site, but Steel opening up.
Still got more to do though, and they're not ready for Stab. And once again, he proves that this bomb site belongs to him. As he shuts down 3, a nice hearty pat on the back from the coach. I think he's owed a little bit more than that with how hard he's had to pull Fragsters through some of these rounds.
That's the characteristics of a great player, right? Even though there's pressure on and the opposition have been having a couple of great rounds, you'll still be able to come in and pick up frags when it's most needed, and he does that in this scenario, on 20 so far. Kubski missing the op shot on the Banana, and rotating back now to hold a more defensive posture. Ooh, what a shot from Yell. Dragonfly cannot be satisfied with that.
Now playing this man down, Luminosity, they're going to be very much in the driver's seat in this round. The defense being spread thin. And if that bomb goes down, you could be in a situation where you see double AWPs in the retake, which is anything less than ideal. Torben dipping back down to reinforce his teammate in the pit. But in the meantime, Yell's been allowed to slip through CT, and surely the guys on B are aware this is an opportunity. Refresh is keeping an eye on it.
He just missed that. Oh well. He's still aware that something can come his way, so he's still holding the angle, but he could have had more information. Let's see if he gets this on Yell. Will be him winning that out. Another shot missed by Bubsky. On the banana, Refresh will not have his M4 out, and now Bubsky will be Molotoved out, smoked out as well, and now the rest of the team has to come in, but Lucas's position is perfect. Holds him away now. Bastown coming in with a shot, a second one from his ult.
Oh my goodness, Steel left in a 1v3. He has to retrieve the bomb. There's only 12 seconds. This round might escape Luminosity. It was their round to give away. And Stavern pulled the rug out from underneath them. Steel left to try and claw this back, but there is no time. And Stavern throws down the gauntlet inside of B. He's 13-9.
He's not an AWP player, Harry. He just picked it up and randomly did a 3K with it.
He's not an AWP risk, but he is a mad fragger. That's what we call someone like this.
That's insane.
Look at him go. He's throwing it back over to Dragonfly, taking an M4 in its place, back on the rifle for him. Double AWP for Luminosity on the T side of Inferno. This is not something you see every day. In fact, I can't say it's anything you ever see normally happen at all.
No, it's usually it's a desperation play. When you feel like nothing else is working out, you're trying to go for this double AWP style. So far, they've only lost one AK in the battle on Banana, but there's still the possibility of them opening up twice with these AWPs here. But Dragonfly is such a nice position. Elevated on Banana. Still is just checking. Okay, sees nothing, sees nothing. No aggression spotted initially, but now Dragonfly's position. Will he pre-aim here? No, he will not. The 2-kill opening on Banana for Fragsters. Close to a 3-kill.
Yeah, flashed away, Dragonfly falls back, picks his fights, and instead he's going to wait for them inside of this B bomb site. And double ops, I mean, you're actually going to start to see some of the real shortcomings of this setup, especially with only Lucas on that rifle. Dragonfly holding on from CT is about to be tested. There's the first frag to Yell. It's the brothers, Henny and Lucas, left to try and keep Luminosity in this round. And Lucas, while he does manage one, everyone pulls through for Fragsters. A 14th to their name. And the economy of Luminosity going to be in dire straits now, a crucial juncture in the game.
This is where stars are made. Where diamonds are made as well, under the hardest pressure, Harry. Can Luminosity turn this around, or will it be Fragsters taking their last time out now? Looking very confident. Saying we're not going to need any more of these. Luminosity on the other side of things. They have to bounce back. They have the potential, but hasn't been realized to its fullest extent so far in this game. We know they have it, but still a bit to go, and it's not a goodbye either. Round number 24, Fragsters on 14. 2 rounds away from getting straight to the semi-final.
So close, I mean, and the buy from Luminosity has been cobbled together. It's anything but perfect, and they're going to look to rush in towards this B-bomb site. Now, the hold here has been very good in the past. They have to stay true to that. Bubsky's forced off the angle. They've gone wrapping through CT. Dragonfly spots it, but it's Refresh to fall first in the back of quad. Bubsky takes the fight with Neckis and lands the no-scope. Down he goes. Man advantage for Fragsters right now. The retake coming through, and they say double AWPs aren't meant to work, but Dragonfly and Bubsky are making it happen regardless, forcing their way back into this bomb site. Henny goes down and Yell. So many targets on screen at once. Fragster's going to reach match point here. It was a nice run from the Brazilians, but now it's all come crashing down around them. They need 6 more in a row to force overtime.
Not impossible, but very unlikely at this point. Luminosity will probably have to go down into the decider games tomorrow and play that best of 3 to make it to the semi-final, unless they can turn it around. They do have AKs, do have 3 smokes, so this round is definitely not impossible, but a nice little boost over for Dragonfly. will get smoked out now. Let's see. It's down. Just holding defensively now, waiting for someone to come near him.
I mean, this is the bomb site that Stavin made his home, made it his own, and this is the one where really he started to own the likes of Luminosity. Dragonflies managed one early on. Stavin lies in wait. Neckers and Yell going to start to inch forward and over the top of the smoke. Stavin able to extend the man advantage that much further for Fragsters. They need 3 more kills to secure their spot in the semis. Stavin is hungry for it. Dragonfly certainly is as well. Torben dropping Henny. It's Yell. 1v5, an AK in hand. Manages the first kill, reads it well. Bubsky's fallen. They keep on facing into him. One at a time. They've given him 2 one-on-ones. They don't want to give him that third. He's on down towards the base of mid, and there is Refresh to close this out. Fragsters will be your victors in this upper bracket matchup. They're going to be heading on through to the semis, meaning Luminosity drop back down to the decider games tomorrow.
A lot of potential in this team. Congratulations to them. Commiserations to Luminosity, who will have their work cut out for them. Definitely the favorites, in my opinion, still to reach the semi-final, but they'll have more work to do.
It's not all over yet. That road will be that much longer now as a result, but a fantastic debut here for Fragsters early on. They're looking to try and make Valencia their own. Convincing 16-1 over VP, and now beating out Luminosity as well to top Group B.
Definitely not the result we expected from this group, but now we have it and we can kind of go back and look at, okay, where did they go right? Like, definitely they had the number on VP. Here in a much closer game against Luminosity, they took it out in the end. Even though they got pressured in the middle of it, they kind of kept their composure, even though that Luminosity were winning rounds and winning duels against them, which can be very scary.
Well, for one final time today, we're going to throw this over to the analyst desk to break down what we just saw unfold. How did you find that, Trace?
Well, the winning streak has been snapped, and not only for Luminosity, but my prediction game as well. But I told you guys, Fragsters had this one in the bag.
Well, they're going to win the whole tournament. It's going to be Fragsters versus Heroic in the grand final on Saturday, not Sunday. I almost meant to say Sunday. I got my crystal ball out. I worked it all out, so that's how the tournament's going to progress from this point. But from this game right now, my biggest takeaway, and you touched on it as well in the pregame, was Luminosity potentially having the opportunity to get punished for their aggression and their mistakes, and Fragsters did a fantastic job of that. There was time and time again where the guys from Luminosity went hyper-aggressive on the CT side, they gave away a free kill, or they were traded out, and then the Fragsters guys just capitalized and played a perfect...
That wasn't even aggression, that was suicidal at moments, right?
Yeah,
just running in,
silly.
you get a kill, fall back, there's no need to like keep taking the fight, and Stavin, Jesus Christ, that T-side was insane. He was hitting, he was not missing a single shot, 25 kills for him. 16-year-old Wunderkid, another one in the scene.
Well, right from the get-go, it was an 11-4 half. So right away, right off the break, Fragsters had just not just one foot in the door. I mean, they had a commanding lead throughout the first half.
I think they kicked the door down, basically. You know, it felt like their game to win at all points. We do say that 11-4 is quite a scary scoreline, but on the T side, it's not so scary. I think that's, you know, you've done enough to close out a game. Short towards, you know, some of the tighter moments. Yo was having a good game. Maybe that leads to the aggression that he was feeling, you know. There was a few opportunities where he could have fallen back and maybe critical decision-making, but when you're not winning rounds, you feel like you need to make plays. This round here was a massive blunder from the likes of Luminosity. They should have closed this one out, but they got a bit discombobulated, and old mate Stavin was able to lock it down with the AWP. We saw quite a few people on that weapon. Dragonfly, Bubsky towards the end there. Everyone getting it done.
Well. And even if we look at the numbers, yeah, Stavin had an excellent game. All across Luminosity, there, you know, it wasn't really something where it seemed like they had the most of team play down pat. I mean, I think these guys also went for a lot of those individual plays.
Indeed.
I think they got like a little carried over with their performance earlier on against North.
One thing that I just want to note while the scoreboard is up, if you take a look at that far right-hand column, there was entry frags were mainly in the favor, or there was more entry frags in the favor of Luminosity. And what that means is that they were getting the opening kills on either the T or the CT side, but the Fragsters guys were still able to capitalize by either trading out efficiently or playing the situation much better and punishing, like we're talking about here, punishing that aggression. So if you go aggressive on the CT side and you get an opening kill, but you're automatically traded, what you're potentially giving is the T's the 4v4, which in a lot of maps is more beneficial to the T side, because now you can have a potential 4-on-1 on a B bomb site or something like that in the late game.
Which made no sense, right? Like, you're pushing in, and some of this angle, some of the fights they were taking was like there was no no way out. They were not even going for the trade game, right? So I completely agree. Made no sense.
Well, there was a guy we talked to earlier, and his name is Refresh, and we actually have him standing by yet again. My man, we talked to you earlier. We're going to talk to you again. How are you feeling right now?
We're feeling great. We just accomplished and getting to the semifinals.
Yes.
So we're really glad that achievement.
I have a question, and this one is not so game related. How come you're the brave soul who's doing all the interviews? Do they just say you're doing it, or how does it work?
Like nobody really wants to do
Exactly.
interviews.
You're
so,
a good man.
Yeah.
You're 100. Mate, that's what I used to do. And now look at me. I stand behind a camera and talk smack for a living. So, yeah, good on you for doing the interviews. But I think you guys played a fantastic game there. Did you expect them to be so aggressive on the CT side?
No, we haven't prepared so much for the CT side. We just went into the game and played our game and just had to focus on our game plan. So we didn't focus a lot. Other than that they have two AWPers, Henny and Yell, and we focused that we needed the money control to be able to get a good TF.
So earlier, you guys walk away with a 61 over a name like Virtus Pro. Obviously, you had to have gotten sort of a high out of that. Now you go fast forward it to what was arguably a pretty one-sided affair right from the get-go in this game. Talk to me about the mindset. I mean, the feeling the team had coming into this one and where they're at now on GG.
We have played against Luminosity before. It was before they added Henny and Lucas to the roster. We played them at DreamHack Austin, where we won the best of 3. So we kind of knew how they wanted to play, and we had good read, and we just felt comfortable taking duels.
Yeah, and one quick thing, just to add on what Chad was saying. Were you at any point surprised at the way Luminosity were kind of throwing themselves at you on the CD side, or just pushing in everywhere, even burning alive in their own incendiaries, for example? Did that catch you guys off guard at any point in time?
Not really, maybe a little bit in the start, but we quickly figured out that they were trying to do something aggressively because they feel in behind in the match, so they wanted to make a play and be aggressive and take the match in their own hands, but we just played more passively and waited for their pushes.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Refresh. You guys are going to have an entire day off. I hope you get to enjoy a little bit of Valencia, but also come back heavy hitting on Saturday. You guys are in the semifinals. Can you believe it?
No.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, man, and congratulations again. Guys, it's not all the time that we get the opportunity to really act out our dreams, or rather act out some memes. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure it's time for an impossible mission, one of which only Chad Sponge Burchill can bring to you.
AZ here, poised at the ticket booth, ready and raring to go. 1, 2, 3, 1 bullet tapped from AZ coming out. This man's insane, continuing with the 4th, and not through the smoke. It couldn't be the impossible by AZ.
That was nuts. Chad.
Thank you very much.
Chad on the mics there. Now, talk to me really quickly about this one, Blade. What do we got?
Well, basically, AZ, channeling his inner Ethan Hunt, just one-tapping fools through the smoke. He doesn't care. He's just destroying everyone. Impossible stuff right there.
Yes, the actual Tom Cruise, not to be confused with Chad Sponge Burchill, who is here with us today. The impossible moment of the day, of course, brought to you by Mission Impossible Fallout, the newest in the series that is Mission Impossible. You should definitely go check that one out in theaters. I think you two had already planned to go see it together, right?
Yeah, double date.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy the flowers.
I'm going to buy the stuff.
Well, I think that does it for us here today. I want to go ahead and plug those that make this all very much possible. It's going to be Astro Corsair, Monster Energy, Hacks, and, well, of course, all of you at home watching in Twitch chat that have been here with us since hour number 1. Thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow with an Elimination Day, 4 best of 3s, and that's going to be quite a bit of Counter-Strike, so make sure you're here with us, and, well, have a good night.